back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make another ident. This time we're going to be making one that looks stretched and kind of glitchy. You may have seen this style used in people's idents such as Penguin's, Trenga's old one, Oliver's, Lmgk, all kinds of idents. So let's get started. First, as usual, I'm going to make a new composition, make it 5 seconds long, 1920 by 1080 and 60 FPS. Once we've done this, we're going to turn off the alpha channel for now, just so we can see everything a bit better. Get our text tool, make sure all the settings are normal. We're going to set this to 200 and we're going to type in the name that we want to use. I've actually decided I'm going to use a different font, so I'm going to be using Akira Expanded. Once we've done this, set it to the middle of the screen and then create shapes from text. Like we have done before, we're going to duplicate our shape layer the amount of times as there are letters. So we've already got 1, so we need another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. So let's do that now. Then we're just going to rename these to each individual layer. So S, I, L, X, N, C, and E. And then you're just going to go in and delete all of the letters that aren't the one that's the layer name. So I'm going to be back once I've done all that. Once you've done that, hit U on your keyboard and then it's going to bring everything back to how it was. So let's get into stretching the text. First, we're going to get our pen tool and we're going to make a second point next to any curve. I messed that one up. Like that. This is to prevent it from stretching out and looking weird. So once you've done that, go to 1 second, keyframe a path, then go to about 30 frames, select the half, holding shift stretch it out, then go back to the first frame, select it all, and then move it to the left until it's out of frame, like that. And then you're going to highlight F9 and then do a speed ramp that looks like this. If you don't see your graph like this, make sure that you're on speed graph and not value graph. I might make that a bit quicker. There we go. Now we repeat the same step for the E at the end, and we're going to make this one come in. So again, keyframe the path, move it to right where the other one is, then go to where this keyframe here is, highlight these, stretch it out slightly, go to the start, highlight them all, move it to the left, like that, then highlight ease on the speed graph and make it look like that. Once we've done this, what we're going to do next is we're going to animate the rest of our layers. So I'm going to have the eye kind of like shoot up. So we're going to set a keyframe for the path, move this to where this keyframe is down here, at about 45. Set one at the start, highlight the top two, holding shift, move it down like that. Then highlight F9 and make it look like that. Next we're going to do the letter L. So what you do is you grab the letter L. Like before, we're just going to get the path. Go to about 45. Keyframe path. Go to where the other one is, which is right here. Drag this up. Go to the start. And all up. Ease and the mountains. However, when it comes to the last few letters, we're going to animate it a bit different. We're going to turn our word at the bottom back on. We're then going to move the anchor point of the X to the top corner, like this. We're going to move it back to where it would be, right there. Then we're going to animate a rotation and a scale. So to do that, scale, we're going to make it a bit bigger than it needs to be. Come to about 45, make a scale back down to 100. We're going to have the rotation set to about 78, and then here back to 0. And ease both of these. I'm going to make them look both like mountains. I'm going to actually change the scale up like that, and let's see how that looks. So yeah, I'm liking how that's going so far. Obviously everything's going to be moved about when each letter comes in. So let's move now onto the end. Get the pen tool, turn the fill off, turn the stroke to black, and set the stroke width to about 30. Then we're just going to click, go up, down, and up like that. Increase the size of your stroke until it fills up the entire N, like that. Put it above your N and set the N to an alpha matte. Then we're going to add a trim paths to this layer, and we're going to be animating when the start and the end happens. So to do that, set the N to 0, go to about 1 second, and set it to 100. Then ease it, and we want it to look like that. Once we've done that, pre-comp these two together so that we don't forget. And now all that's left to do is this. And for this, it's just going to be simple. It's going to be a scale coming from the top and going down. So what we're going to do is, again, turn on our word at the bottom. We're going to move the anchor point to the top of the C, like that. Move it back to the middle, and then move it back to where it needs to be, like that. Then we're going to keyframe the position and the scale. Go back to here, keyframe the scale, and then keyframe the position. I'm going to go here, we're going to set the scale to 0, and the position to be up there like that. And then highlight both of them, ease. And then again, like before, we're going to make the mountains. If it's up here, don't worry, just drag it down. And then again, make it the mountains. Let's look at what we've got so far. So far it's looking good, but what we need to do now is just need to move where everything happens. So hit U on your keyboard. We're going to want the X to be first, followed then by everything being at a different time. So just move everything around until you get it to be looking like how you want it to look. So I think that looks good. Make sure to turn motion blur on for every layer, so Control A, and then hit the motion blur sign. Next we're going to be animating the stroke, so to do that, turn on a stroke layer, set it to your color, then make it red, then make it 8 pixels wide, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to type in, we're going to highlight these and type in opacity up here. Once you've done that, it shows you all the different opacities that you'll need. So all we're going to do is hit stroke opacity, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn that off, keyframe the fill opacity and go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. Set this one to 0, and then we're just going to move that to be where we want it to be. So usually is when it hits like that. So right there, like this. And then we're going to do the same, but for the rest of them. So Control C, Control V, again move it around until you find somewhere that you want it to be. and then do the same for the fill. So match up the fill with the stroke, like that. Once you've done this, what you're going to do now is make sure that every layer has a stroke. So select it, red, and then 8, and do this for every layer. Let's see what we got so far. So what I noticed for the C, I might need to move it back a bit, like to about there. That's looked nice so far. Now all we need to do is make sure that we add it for the N as well. So select the N, set stroke, red, set it to 8, type up opacity, set the fill to 0, fill to 100, and stroke to 0. Then move this to about here. All looking good so far, so all we need to do is pre-compose it, hit Ctrl D, move this top one frame forward, this one back, pull up our effects and presets. In here we want to search up fill, and just drag a fill onto the bottom layer, set it to what colour you want, and what this will do is it will add like a sort of second element to our edit, like that. So next all we're going to do is we're going to go layer, well first we're going to pre-compose these together, like that, then we're going to go layer, new, adjustment layer, and we're going to search up displacement map. So once you found your displacement map, put it on there, go back to project, and we're going to drag in the overlay that I've put in the description. So we're going to make sure that it fits the comp, so transform fits comp. Turn off both of the layers, pre-comp it, move all attributes into new composition, adjustment layer, turn off the volume, adjustment layer, and then change it from adjustment layer to screen glitch. And what this will do is, you can see already, it will add a glitch to our text. So what we're going to do now is set 2 keyframes on the max and the other max, and then set these to 0 around there. Let's see what that looks like. It looks good so far, but it might be a bit big, so one way to fix that is to come into here, scale it down to about 68, and then just re-scale the different letters. So this bit might be a bit tricky, but what you've got to do is just rescale them and then reposition them. Once you have everything repositioned without messing up the keyframes, it should look something like this. All we're going to do now is make sure that the S, the L and the E are all off screen. So again, hit U, go to the path, highlight the path, and just move it to the left a little bit more, like that. Then do the same for the L, hit U, go to the first frame of the path, and move it up. Same with the E, U, path, and move it to the right. Once we've done that, we can go back to our main composition and we can watch it through. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the X so that it has a bit of opacity before it comes in. Go back into our composition, and then animate an opacity. So set the keyframe there, go to start, set it to 0. Same for the eye, so go to where the eye is and copy that over. So all that's left to do now is to make it scale out. So we're going to go to about 45 frames, hit S, go up to 2 seconds, set it to 0, hit F9, and then speed ramp it like this. We're also going to set a keyframe at the start to 120. We're going to go to about here, set it to 110. And then we're going to make it look like this. So there's a little mountain right at the start. Turn on motion blur and let's see what we got. Now we're just going to Control A, Control Shift C, pre-comp it, set scale for 100 over here, go to near the end, set one for 90, and this will just give a consistent scale like that. Now, optional thing that we can do is we can go to our effects and presets, type up deep glow, and take the deep glow plugin and put it on top. Then, if we just turn down the radius, turn the brightness to about 0.25, and watch this through, turn that up to 140. And there we go, we've managed to make ourselves a stretched ident. If you like tutorials like this and you want to see more, make sure to drop a like, as well as in the comments put some suggestions of what you would like to see me cover. Also, if you would subscribe, it would help a lot, as we are almost at 1,000 subscribers, only about 20 off. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.